Hey, welcome, and thank you so much for tuning in. I know you're busy, and I'm going to make this very well worth your time. This is the Bold Empathy Project podcast, and I am Brian Walden Pope, creator of the Bold Empathy Framework, and I am leading the Bold Empathy Project, which is a movement I'm going to tell you a little bit more later on. So in this pre-launch episode, I just want to give you a quick taste of Bold Empathy, the Bold Empathy Project, maybe some expectations for upcoming podcast episodes, and a few other things. Right off the bat, let me just tell you a little bit about Bold Empathy. It is a framework that guides you to enhance relationships, to boost your business, to drive innovation, to eradicate conflict, to accelerate connections between people, ideas, and resources. So the question that I would ask to kind of get your mind going is, what is the biggest obstacle you're facing right now? And what about your employees? What are the obstacles they're facing? Your family, your friends? What are the things they're facing? And what if you could be the catalyst for helping them succeed in a bigger than ever way, in overcoming those obstacles, in clarifying their vision, in being able to help them see exactly what they can do to achieve everything they are looking to do? That is what Bold Empathy is all about. It's all about helping us help others succeed in a bigger way and creating a positive impact in their worlds and, of course, in turn then, in ours. Bold Empathy has been in the making for over 35 years. This journey began in 1985. The principles, the practices, and the tools that you're going to hear about and discover were used originally in personal relationships and then in building businesses and then to help people direct their life decisions and some of these bigger things as I got more and more into this and perfected it and found myself in positions to be able to help more and more people. So what it all comes down to is two things. These are the two things at the foundation. That is eradicating conflict and accelerating connections. You see, every shortcoming, whether it's a little shortcoming or whether it's a major fail in our lives, is either because of the presence of a conflict, the lack of connection of some kind, or both. And usually it is both. There is a conflict and a lack of connection in play at the same time. So let me just give you a few examples of this so you know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about a misunderstanding, something that's very common as we communicate as humans. Those misunderstandings happen because there's a conflict between what is said back and forth between the two people, or there's a lack of connection between the people or between the ideas they're talking about. How often is there a misunderstanding, and later when another piece of information comes to light, we say, "Oh, I know exactly what you're saying now. I totally misunderstood you." Bold empathy helps us avoid those situations. Another example quickly, sales. When a sale doesn't close, how frustrating is that? There are so many people out there who have to sell something. Even if it's not in a business setting, we're all always selling something. We're selling an idea. We're selling other people on doing something that we'd like to see done, whatever the case may be. Same situation. There is either a presence of conflict or a lack of connection, or both. And bold empathy helps us get into the other person's world and have a conversation that helps them discover what they want and how they want that and what they're willing to do to make that happen, and very naturally leads to the closing of that sale, all without traditional closing techniques. And this works amazingly well in business. Another example, I'll throw one more out here just to keep our wheels going. Sometimes we find ourselves having hired the wrong employee. We didn't get the best possible candidate. We thought we asked all the right questions. We thought we went through the interview process properly. But once the person is onboarded and in their position, we see that there again is either a presence of some type of conflict or a lack of connection or both. Again, bold empathy helps us lead those conversations, and not only so that we can see who the best employees are, but so that they can understand. How would you like it if right in an interview, in a very meaningful, calm way, you're talking to someone and they realize they are not the right candidate for the position and they tell you so? And so you don't go down that wrong road. Bold empathy absolutely can make that happen. So Again, there's so many other examples, so many other things I could tell you, but hopefully that just gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the applications. I would like to invite you to bring everything good you know about empathy, and let's add to that. So often when we talk about empathy, we talk about the what. This is what it looks like. This is when it should be applied. I believe empathy is a way of living. We always should be living in other people's worlds. We should always be working to understand them and staying there to help them. So what this is the how. And that's what's missing so many places. We know the what. We know what we should be doing with regard to it, but we don't know how. So the Bold Empathy Framework consists of 3 principles, 3 practices, and 3 tools that are very specific, very simple to use for business leaders, parents, teachers, counselors, coaches and consultants, civic leaders, salespeople, so many others, to be able to implement and use the how. Let's talk just a little bit about how Bold Empathy works now. So again, as I've mentioned, we have conflict, we have disconnections. Those almost always happen when we try to pull other people into our world. There's a popular notion out there, and it's half right. I say that we've all been taught a half-truth that we've bought into, and here it is. Strive first to understand others, and then provide the solutions that you have, or then help them to understand your position. Well, here's where the disconnect happens on that. People do not need to understand us. There's nobody out there who needs to understand me for me to be healthy and successful as I work to help them succeed. That's where the disconnect happens so often. What they need to understand is themselves, their vision, their journey, their abilities, their resources, what they're willing to do to transform their vision into reality. That's what they need to understand. And when I start imposing my view of those things onto them and say, here's what you need to do, that's where the walls go up. We've all seen it. That's where the barriers go up and people say, I'm not going to listen to you. Well, Bold Empathy helps us to not have this happen. So the fallacy in that approach is that we're striving to understand those people, but then we're trying to pull them out of their comfort zone, out of their paradigm, out of their world into ours. Bold Empathy shows us how to stay in their world. In fact, one of the 3 principles, and it's an amazing principle, this alone can change your life and the lives of people around you very quickly, is this: step into other people's worlds and stay there. Don't try to pull them into your world. Stay there. Operate in their paradigm. Now, this doesn't mean we're changing who we are. We don't need to change our values, our beliefs, our views to be able to do this. We're simply operating within their paradigm. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a leader, as a business owner, as a parent, as a salesperson, as a counselor, as any of these things, it turbocharges the effectiveness of every good thing we're trying to do for those people when we learn to stay in their worlds, when we learn to operate from within their paradigms. And it is simple to do. Not necessarily easy. It definitely takes practice, but the actual process is very simple. And that's what Bold Empathy shows us how to do. When we learn how to stay in other people's worlds, we can then be the catalyst for bringing alignment and unity to ideas, visions, people, and resources in a way that brings unprecedented success to that individual with whom we're working, to our families, to our businesses, our communities, and ultimately to the world. And that is what I have as a vision for the Bold Empathy Project, is to see this go to the world. So whether you are or want to be a business owner, a manager, leader, teacher, parent, counselor, political officer, any other such thing, the principles, practices, and tools that make up the Bold Empathy Framework can turbocharge the influence, the insights, and the effectiveness you have with those you lead and serve. And the power that others feel inside themselves from the direction and confidence they gain from our purposeful use of the Bold Empathy Framework is immediate and game-changing for them. It is so exciting to watch. I want to share just a few ways that this has been applied over the decades, again, to open your mind up and give you some ideas here with your specific situation, whatever that might be. I have used this framework to redefine brands, to rejuvenate troubled marriages and other relationships, to create and grow businesses, to close more deals more quickly, to reclaim personal time for business executives while increasing their effectiveness personally and professionally. Talk about bringing harmony and unity into their lives and aligning those things. This is something that Bold Empathy does so well. We've used it to repair communication gaps between parents and children, to bring opposing sides of government and political entities to mutually aligned resolutions, to realign business owners' visions with their company's operations. Man, that's a huge one. That's something that happens so often. We have a vision when we start our business, and then we find ourselves in the heat of battle doing the things we feel like need to be done, but the vision is off there somewhere else. We're really not still on that path. This absolutely helps realign those things and bring greater power than ever to that alignment. So again, those are just a few of the things that Bold Empathy does when it is applied in these various situations. So it can be overlaid on any successful methodology or system that you have in place anywhere to make it more effective. And that's the thing that's so nice about Bold Empathy. It's not asking you to replace other effective things you're doing. It simply enhances those in all of these areas we've talked about. It is the how. It's not just another what. Here's what you need to do, but it is the how. Shows you exactly what to do. And since it's a framework, that we're not talking about big long lists of questions you need to ask or steps you need to take. It is a framework that allows you on the fly in every conversation, in every situation, to have the right conversation, to drill down in a way that we get down to core issues, that we get down to the actions that need taken, and you don't have to have a script or anything else. It's amazing that way. So this is where the rubber hits the road. This is where these concrete tools and practices harmoniously interweave with the deepest and best of empathy-related principles to create a really actionable approach, something that we can put handles on and use that create better situations, bigger successes more quickly than ever before. Now, one point I want to make that's very important. Bold Empathy understands that life is not a zero-sum game. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The success that is achieved by those who understand and engage the Bold Empathy framework is only overshadowed by the greater success of those they have helped along the way. And I love that about Bold Empathy. This isn't selfish. It's not manipulative. It's not getting our way or something good for us at the expense of others. It truly is increasing the size of the pie. It's not a finite situation out there, and this allows us to create a bigger pie that we can all have a bigger piece of. So now a little bit about my vision with regard to the Bold Empathy project itself. My vision is a big one. I'm on a quest to help millions of people discover the unparalleled power of living the Bold Empathy life. And the fulfillment of this vision is going to require that I have the traveling companionship of many earnest and energetic people who are ready to blow the roof off their current realities as they help propel other people to new heights in every facet of their lives. So that's what I'm looking for, is the people who are ready to do this for other people and for themselves. And with the input of some of the most amazing minds out there in existence, we have honed this journey into the makings of a movement that's accessible to everyone who wants these benefits. These are things that I've taught now for years to my private one-on-one clients. I've worked with and facilitated this for many companies and many individuals. But taking it to a bigger audience meant that we needed to change some things to make it more accessible, both in content and in investment level. You're going to be very pleasantly shocked at how accessible this is. I want the world to have this. So first step, my invitation to you is to simply subscribe to this podcast right now. There's nothing to buy. Just subscribe to this podcast and start to listen. The episodes are short. They're packed with insights to help you, your family, your employees, and everyone else around you that you wish to see succeed do so at their highest level of potential. It has been so extremely fulfilling to me to have watched the life-changing results in the lives of so many people over the years as the Bold Empathy framework has been applied to their journeys in building businesses, entering into personal relationships, overcoming obstacles, making important life decisions, and on and on. It is now time to exponentially grow the community of people who have these tools and can use them for their success. I'm looking forward to having you along with us in that journey if this is interesting to you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to listen. I hope that you understand just enough about Bold Empathy and the movement that we're on with the Bold Empathy Project that you'll want to listen and continue to gain the insights that are going to help you accomplish the things you want to while helping others accomplish the things that are going to make their lives so much better. I look forward to joining with you on your journey.
Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, discover more at boldempathy.com. And remember to follow us on your favorite social media platforms.